NAVI don't tend to play Overpass very often. They've only played it twice in the last 3 months, but on both occasions they have been absolutely dominant. They beat Heroic 16-7 and most recently smashed Vitality 16-5 with a stand-in. That demolition Vitality is what we're going to be breaking down today, taking a look at some of the key rounds and figuring out how exactly NAVI were able to be so dominant and so insanely in sync while still playing with a stand-in. In the pre-game, Mahone had a section where he talked about which players are going to be playing which roles on the B bomb site for NAVI, and he made an assumption that I think everyone would make, is that SDY would play short, and then Electronic would switch up his positions and play the rotator spot. Now, in reality, it was actually SDY who ended up playing a lot of these rotator positions, throwing the utility up to A, coming over to A as the first rotator. We see here why. I mean, this flashbang is perfectly timed. Electronic gets a free kill. Take a look at that a little closer. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And what makes this a bit of a meta break is that most teams will wait for that smoke to fade and pop through it as it's fading. You know, we've seen a lot of teams go for it. NAVI loved it earlier in the year, but here they changed things up. They changed up the pace and the timing of that flash and completely destroy Magisk. Now, of course, the other part that makes NAVI so dangerous isn't just how well prepped they are, isn't just how well they use their utility and how good their team play is, even with a stand-in. It's also how good their individuals are. And you'll see here simple, to get the other opening frag of this round, sees a missed smoke there, realizes it's missed, and then just steps into the angle. Takes the fight, hits the shot. Never expected him to miss that. And he doesn't. Next round, round 6, and we see Bit really show off the level he's reached. He's been growing ever since that Stockholm Major where he was good in the group stage, fell off a little in the playoffs for me, didn't really hit those same heights. Here we saw him on a big stage be probably the best player on NAVI, even though he ended up on a pretty similar kill count to Electronic. I do think he played even better. Right here we see a concept I've discussed with Maui before, never in a video, but we have talked about it on Twitter briefly, and it's essentially Bit in a space like this where he's operating with very little room to maneuver. He doesn't really need it. He's just flicking between his pre-aims, keeping an eye on everything, and then getting support from his teammates in the form of flashbangs when he needs them and if he needs them. Yeah, this round's an absolute monster highlight. You see how beautiful his aim is, how well timed all the utility is. He hears the steps, calls for a flashbang. There it is, perfect from SDY as well, the stand-in, throwing that flashbang. Great timing on the peak. Effecto's flashbang, also great. And then he turns around and wins the fight with Debris. You just can't beat him in these sorts of spaces when he's so prepared and so well set up. The other thing that really stood out when going through this demo was SDY's anchoring. Now he actually anchors both bomb sites at various points. Not literally, he's not like sat there the entire round, but I mean when the push comes in, he's on the bomb site, he's creating a distraction, he's holding the line, he's not dying, very importantly, and he's allowing his teammates to then rotate in and close up the rounds. And we'll see a great example in this round and in a couple others. He's great on both bomb sites, a really versatile rifler who's capable of getting a frag and not dying, using utility, doing so many of those things that really don't pop up in the stat sheet quite the same way, but are massively impactful. Here's the first flashbang to delay. Steal. Not over peeking, stays hidden. Then he gets the fight, wins it, and look, doesn't overstep, doesn't over push the mark. Electronic's going to come in and start fighting people. But he can because SDY's just holding. Electronic makes the play. And that's round over. SDY going to use the smoke fade. And there we go. Yeah, really well played from SDY to not push out, not die, not overface. Must be noted though, I watched that push from the side of Vitality. Something they actually did a couple times in this game. They weren't willing to brave the utility and just go in, take the space needed on the entries or in the bomb sites themselves. It kind of came back to haunt them in a couple rounds, that one being one of them. Okay, very next gun round, we've got the SDY flashbang again. So I'm just going to show it from his perspective as you watch it fly over. Yeah, they really must have been pissing off Magisk with this stuff. Look at that flashbang right in his face. Nothing he can do. He's just playing his default as he's supposed to. And gets absolutely abused. Now it's actually Zai who gets a massive double kill next. Just contacting that monster tunnel, finding the flash comes in. The timing is pretty bad, the tease. But here's SDY. The molly goes down, the flash, the smoke, everything to just isolate the bomb site, delay, keep himself alive. He gets the one frag, the obligatory one frag, then dives in deep. Zaiwu does kill him. But an immediate trade from Bit because Zaiwu's had to really overextend to go and find that frag. Alright, two things to pay attention to in this round. Firstly, yep, SDY does another great job anchoring the bomb site, but then also Simple shows off that other aspect we talked about, the individuals on this team, about how you really can't expect to outskill them. Simple goes huge. Let's start off with the SDY part. So after that initial opening flurry, Basuta traded out for Electronic. T-side slowed down a lot. They really like to pause and regroup in these scenarios on Overpass. Think that what you will, but here's SDY set up with this smoke that lands at the front of the bomb site between the barrels and the pillar. Absolutely amazing tool to work around, to delay, stay alive, all these great things that we expect from an anchor. As soon as he feels the exit coming in, there we go. The pins were pulled, so he pulls his. He just sits down here and doesn't die, and Simple comes in and, well, I'm saying you can't outskill this team. He's just going to re-peek it. Apex gets Perfecto. Look at that shot. Too slow, Apex, too slow. Simple's a monster. Okay, round 11, anti-force buy. And we see Bit going for a very cheeky play. Gets the info here, but the flashbang, it's all set up anyway. He shows himself, he's visible. So the T's just sit there and stare. They all get flashed. Pretty ridiculous play. But yeah, Bit goes on to ace this round. Just let it play out. It's pretty comfortable in the end. They guarantee the first kill. They make sure that first kill's found. Look at this control. Oh my god. All 4 headshots so far. And there's the 5th. Alright, this round, it's a tale of SDY and Bit holding down this A bomb site. So SDY's the first rotator up, as I said he would be. He's playing from bank. As the utility comes in, he takes a little risk. Not the safest anchoring play, but just pokes out. And there we go, before the smoke come up, clears that player out. Now he's stuck in the bomb site, as is it Bit, but look at this flashbang. Nice and high. Bit can use it, gets the first. Almost a second, but Electronic cleans it up. But right, let's look at the timing of these peaks around SDY's flashbangs as well. Like how perfect the timing is. Look at that. Bit goes from fighting to ducking to fighting again. Just around the time that flashbang needs to pop. The comms between these players are ridiculously good. SD was a stand-in, and as the event went on, they got smoother and more fluid with him, and he's clearly just embedded himself right into this squad. Alright, at this point, Vitality start playing a little further back in the same area, like Miss Molly, and no flashbang from the CT side, and yet, you know, they're still very anxious, very passive as they wait to come out. And in this round, they end up getting massively delayed. So here we are, 40 seconds left in the round. They've grouped up, they've silently walked into B. There's the first molly. Vitality, they've already thrown a first smoke down. Then a second molly comes in. And they're not going anywhere, they're still stuck here. Ooh. Here comes the third Molotov. All of this on short. Electronic wins the fight with the monster player. At this point, utility they threw is fading. Here comes Electronic to ruin everything. Perfect flashbangs. Well, perfect flashbangs for Electronic. They're thrown by Vitality. Electronic ends up acing this round. Absolutely huge. He wins the most important fight. This round came down to two things. Firstly, Electronic spots a player's head while jump spotting from heaven. And secondly, utility. So it comes down to three things. Thirdly, this Magisk lurk around Monster, up Monster, is the only real pressure they have on the bomb site when these mollies is denying the short push. Electronic, absolute genius, works around that slightly weird smoke. And of course, as we saw earlier, pops up and gets the double kill. Not a great showing by Vitality, but also incredibly well played by the NAVI guys. Alright, this is the round. Cometh the time, cometh the man. And yeah, Sumdai Young, absolutely huge in this round. Again, he's following the same principles, the same utility sets that he was in prior rounds when he's anchoring this B-bomb site. But this time, he goes nuts. He goes absolutely huge. I think Vitality have completely overrun the bomb site at this point. Finally, they look like they're going to get their fifth. and SDY says no. So let's go take a look at that. There you go, the connected defender goes down. Again, those jump spots just to see the information where that player's gone. Flash around the pillar. Double flash even. Molly's up on short. Just plays around this water. Nice frag. Apex should be kicking himself. There's the triple kill. Absolutely nuts. Beautiful shooting from SDY. Disappointing for Apex really to have not gotten that kill when he's fighting him through the molly. But hey, you gave him a chance and SDY took it. Okay, at this point, this is the first gun round after NAVI's, call it, bonus round. That's what they're called. And it starts off kind of whatever. They open up with a trade on Dupree, but then SDY goes down. Down 3 to 4 in terms of numbers. You're thinking, yeah, we've got enough util to execute, but you still need something huge. You need a player to really change the tides of this round. So, bit sneaking around this smoke, firstly. I like the idea. A lot of teams get a little cheeky around here. They'll throw that smoke. They like to have a player that's relatively close to it, but they don't go for it. It can't catch anyone out. Instead, they sneak up to the bomb site. On contact, they know there's no one here, so they don't actually have to use any utility not to give themselves away until they start getting to the actual bomb site itself. It's great how those little info plays, tiny little things, such a big impact. And this round, NAVI have no right really winning this. Bit takes 2 fights. They're pretty fair fights as well. Just runs in. Like, they're fair fights in terms of his opponent should have every right to win that. Like, every chance to win it. Bitch goes running through 2 headshots. Basically round over. Alright, button around of the game. SDY and Sybil will start trading. Sybil gets the opener. Then look, it's just a trading game. Essentially, NAVI get the advantage. And then just slowly just chip them down. Keep taking the fights. They've got a grouped up set of AKs. Given an opener, they just need to finish this game off. Just trade the pieces down and it's over. They end up in a really advantageous post plant, 4 on 2. Vitality's simply not able to hit the shots required. Down goes Dupree. And yeah, an absolutely outstanding performance on Overpass. Going into Cologne, if NAVI can play like that on Overpass, if they can fit SDY in so smoothly on every map, and they continue to play like they did in that grand final, they did during most of that playoff run, yeah, we've got a NAVI problem again. We thought it was over after Stockholm, you know, they started their era, then that thing happened, and they, you know, lost a bit of that momentum. I think they're building it back up again. SDY has really slotted in almost too comfortably, I think. Full credit to Blade, full credit to Electronic for being able to still, you know, operate and call in this system and then frag out the way he has, you know, as the IGL. But yeah, an incredible team. Really can't speak enough to their strengths. I mean, the way they play off each other, absolutely gorgeous. And then the individuals hitting those shots, I mean, it's a super team. It really is. It's unfair. I mean, most teams don't build their super teams through their academy signings. But yeah, NAVI did. Full credit to him. Bringing in SDY, I hope it's a permanent move because he has been outstanding. And we'll see what happens in Cologne. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, sub. See you in the next one. Goodbye.